everyone, in this video I will share you the material about semantic. I hope you can understand the material that I explained in my presentation. Semantic. So, now we are going to learn about semantic. But first we are going to learn about definition of semantic. What do you know about semantic? Semantic is the branch of linguistics that deal with the study of meaning, change in meaning, and the principle that govern the relationship between sentence or word and their meaning. In the semantic, we not only learn about meaning, but also learn of the relationship between sign and symbol and what they represent. Simple to say about semantic. Semantic is the study of meaning in the language. We know language is used to express meaning, which can be understood by others, but meaning exists in our mind and we can express what is in our mind through the spoken and written form of language. We can learn meaning through gesture, action, and etc. Study of grammar, phonology, syntax, morphology, it's important to learn because these elements are related in the study of meaning, and this is a part of semantic. What do you know? How is language organized in order to be meaningful? Meaning is related very closely to the human capacity to think logically and to understand. In semantic, is that level of linguistic analysis where meaning is analyzed. So, when we try to analyze meaning, we are trying to analyze our own capacity to think and understand, our own ability to create meaning. There are three disciplines that concern with the systematic study of meaning in itself. In semantic has been concerned to physiology, philosophy, and linguistics. That three element is important. In psychology, semantic consider in how the human mind seek meaning and work with them. An individual human learn how they retain, recall, or lose information, how they can classify, make a judgment, and solve the problem. And in philosophy, language are concerned with how we know. How any particular fact that we know or accept as true is related to the other possible fact. And in linguistics is concerned with identifying the meaningful element of specific language. The nature of language. All animals have some system for communicating with other members of their species, but only humans have language. Only humans that have language grows. Because in the daily life, language is important and always used to communicate with others. Language and individual. Every human child with a few pathological expressions learn the language. A child gets the basic that language in the first 5 or 6 years of life. Human child learn language every time. Especially human child hear first. After that, they record and try to speak. Human child learn language by hear. There are two different aspects of meaning of a word. First, denotative meaning, and second, connotative meaning. Denotative meaning, it means the logical meaning, which indicate the essential qualities of a concept which distinguish it from other concepts. And then, connotative meaning is the additional or associate meaning, which is attached to the denotative conceptual meaning. For example, when you see a red rose, and have a green stem. In the denotation meaning, red rose is just object. But in connotative meaning, when your boyfriend gives you a red rose, this rose is a symbol of passion, love, compassionate, and etc. Demonstrate semantic knowledge. There are many ways we can learn semantically. Every human being has a different way to learn and understand meaning. There are many ways how people try to demonstrate their semantic knowledge. Language in use. How do you know about language in use? Language in use refers to the communicative meaning of a particular language. People use language as a tool to do things, namely to request, to make a promise, to express regret, to report, to give direction, to offer something, and so forth. Every human uses language in everyday life. We cannot expect when we don't have a language. The study of how context affects meaning is called pragmatic. For example, in this sentence, it is cool in here. You can be interpreted in certain situations as close the door, close the window. There are two non-linguistic signs that we have to consider in order to know how to react to them. First is natural sign and two conventional sign. Natural sign, no human sender, just human receive, and conventional sign, human sender, human receive, each one has an intention and an interpretation. In natural sign, people are less concerned with natural sign, but in conventional sign, people are more concerned with. In the natural sign and conventional sign, do not use language. That is the way they are called non-linguistic sign. Example to natural sign. See the picture in here. They are a footprint. When you see a footprint in the jungle when you alone, when does it mean? It is the natural result of a foot treading on a soft surface, and it can communicate message that the owner of the footprint was recently there. More example of natural sign is smoke. When you see a smoke, what do you think about? You think that there is a dangerous, or you keep calm and think that the smoke just gone? Conventional sign. Conventional sign are the auditory and visual device that people have created. Look at this example of conventional sign. A driver honked the horn of his car. What message does he want to send? He wants the other car driver to move aside, or he might want to give sign that he plans to overtake his route. Another example is, I stay in dormitory, and when at 12 there is a bell in cafeteria. So, it's coded to all students in dormitory that the cafeteria was open and we can start to eat. Next example is bells, the pop of gun, and etc. Sentence and utterance. An utterance, it is a physical event or a specific event. But sentence is not a physical event or a physical object. For example, utterance. You greet someone, hello, hi. An example of sentence. The pelican ignored the linguist. Another example. I would like to have a cup of coffee. What do you think about this? This is sentence or utterance. Yes, this is sentence. Another example, coffee please. What do you think? This is utterance or sentence? Yes, this is utterance. Simple to difference between sentence and utterance. Sentence have structure, subject, predicate, object, but utterance not have. Speaker meaning and sentence meaning. Speaker meaning and sentence meaning are both important. There is a gap between speaker meaning and sentence meaning. Speaker and hearer need to identify the element in an utterance. For example, same vocabulary, similar pronunciation, same way of putting words together. These elements are important to have good communication every day with each other. Prosody. To understand prosody, we have to learn intonation and accent. You know about intonation and accent? Intonation is the melody of spoken utterance, but accent is the distinctive mode of pronunciation of a language. Prosody is the combination of intonation and accent. Now we are going to learn about theories of meaning. In the theory of meaning, just explain word and thing are directly related, but in the conceptual theory of meaning, word and thing are related through the mediation of concept of the mind. Ogden and Richard saw this relationship as a triangle. Their triangle, with you can see there is a word, symbol, and referent. The symbol is the linguistic element, the word and phrase. Sentence, the referent, is object in the word truth or, but referent is concept. According to this theory, there is no direct link between the symbol and referent. The link is through referent or through our concept. The problem with this view is that we do not precisely know the nature of the link or bond between symbol and concept. Lexical semantic. In the lexical semantic, we are going to study about word meaning. Lexical semantic deals not only with meaning of individual words, but also with the way in which the meaning of different words are related. In the lexical semantic is very interesting to syntactician, because the meaning of a word often influences how it fits into syntax. The types of lexical relation are as follows. First, synonym. Synonym, two or more terms with very closely related meanings, which are often, but not always, intersubstitutable in sentence. For example, bird, synonym are white. Antonym. Antonym is two terms with opposite meaning, are called antonym. Antonyms are usually of two main kinds. First, gradable. They can be used in comparative contraction. The negative of one member does not necessarily imply the other. For example, not all doesn't mean young. Second, non-gradable or complementary pairs. They are not normally used in comparative contraction, and the negative of one member does imply the other. For example, not dead means alive. Consider the opposite, T unti. The word unti doesn't mean not T. It means do the reverse of T. Such pairs are called reversive. Pack unpack, raise lower, dress undress, and lengthen shorten. But it is important to avoid describing most antonym pairs as one word meaning the negative of another. Third, hyponym. Hyponym, when the meaning of one term is included in the meaning of another, the relationship is called hyponym. Hyponym, in this category, we are looking at the meaning of word. We can say that two or more terms which share the same superordinate higher up term are called cohyponym. So, dog and horse are cohyponym. An animal is superordinate. The hyponym captures the idea of is a kind of example as is kind of snakes. Term for action can also be hyponym. For example, cut, punch, shoot, and stab can all be found as cohyponym of the superordinate term injured. And then homophony. Homophony, when two or more differently written forms have the same pronunciation but different meaning. For example, si, si laut dan si melihat. Homography, when two or more forms are the same only in writing but different in pronunciation and meaning, they are described as homographs such as lit and let. Homonym, it is when one form has two or more unrelated meanings but have the same pronunciation and spelling. For example, bank, bank of a river, and bank, financial institution. They have quite different meanings but accidentally have the same form. Polysemy, it can be defined as one form, having multiple meanings which are all related by extension. For example, head refers to top of your body, top of a glass of beer, top of a company. If two words are treated as homonym, they will typically have two separate entities. And then metonym. This relationship is essentially based on a close connection in everyday experience. It may be container-content relation, can juice, a whole part relation, car wheels, or a representative symbol relation, king, crown. Sometimes making sense of many expressions depend on context, background knowledge, and inference. And then collocation. Those words will tend to occur with other words. Hammer collocate with nail, wife with husband, and knife with fur. Semantic role. In semantic role, instead of considering a word like a container of meaning, we can look at the role it performs in a sentence. My sister rang the bell with her elbow. My sister is agent. The bell is tent. Her elbow is instrument. Agent. Agent is the entity that performs the action. Theme is the entity that is involved in or affected by the action. An instrument is if an agent uses another entity in performing an action. That other entity takes the role of instrument. For example, consider the following. An agent of an action can be human or non-human. The cat rang the bell. The wind blew the bell away, curiously killed the cat. In semantic role, we also learn about location, argument, and valency. Location, for example, for this sentence, the man painted the wall at home. In the sentence, the word at home shows the location. Argument. In semantic analysis, every proposition contains one predicate and a varying number of referring expressions called argument. Predicate may be a verb, an adjective, a preposition, or a noun phrase. And then we learn about valency. Valency theory is a description of the systematic potential of predicate in terms of the number and types of argument which may co-occur with them. A sentence may have valency of 0, 1, 2. Another example, like for this sentence, the boy kicks the ball. The boy is again, the ball is tame. The man opened the door with a key. The man is again, the door is tame, and a key is instrument. The theme can also be an entity. This is simply being described. The ball was red. The ball is tame. Although again are typically human, they can also be non-human forces, machinist or creator. The wind blew the ball away. The wind is again. The car ran over the ball. The car is again. The dog caught the ball. The dog is again. The theme can also be human. The boy kicked himself. Now we can learn about sentence and proposition. Sentences are more knowable than thought. Propositions are objects of thought. They are abstract but meaningful. They can be expressed in different sentences and also in part of sentences. Proposition must be assumed to be true in order to judge the truth or falsity of another sentence. Proposition is part where the clause and sentence contain constant meaning. Although there will be some change in structure, proposition may be related to other units with the same entities. Fundamentally, proposition can be expressed in various ways. A statement can be either true or false. If a proposition is true, then we say its truth value is true. And if a proposition is false, we say its truth value is false. In learning semantics, you should have the ability to analyze meanings of non-sentences, such as phrase or incomplete sentences. In order to have accurate analysis, you should understand the whole sentences by involving proposition because propositions are part of meanings. A proposition is a potential fact, either it is true or false. The notion of truth can be used to decide whether two sentences express different propositions. And then we can learn about aspect. Aspect is both grammatical and lexical. It is expressed in predicate, especially in verb, inflection, and collocation of verb. For example, it is beginning to break. It is breaking. It broke. It is broken. However, the expression of aspect may also appear in certain temporal adverb and in the choice of referring expression. Aspect is expressed primarily in the predicate of sentences. Aspect has drawn a distinction between states and activities, the former containing stative predicate and the latter dynamic predicates. The semantic nature of a predicate often has something to do with the aspect it expresses, but it is also a fact that some predicates may occur in sentences with different aspects. So, the conclusion is semantic is the study of meaning in the language. We must learn semantic because semantic it's more important thing that we must learn to know the meaning. To be semantically knowledgeable, we have to do enhance the vocabulary through read and comprehend. Since the meaning, practice using the word or phrase in the sentence, and have motivation to learn, and the last, take heart as you learn every meaning of each word. So, this is the end of our presentation. I hope you understand about my explanation. Thank you.